All right, let's jump right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer. Man, I am so pumped you're here for this overview because we're tackling something literally everyone deals with, but nobody really wants to talk about. We're talking about defeating impulse buying and ultimately taking your wealth back. Look, if you've ever bought something you absolutely didn't need, let me just stop you right there. You are not weak. You're not stupid. You're definitely not just bad with money. You are just human, man. But today we're going to completely rewrite the script on how you handle your cash. So, be completely honest with yourself for a second here. How many times have you looked at a bank statement at the end of the month and felt that instant massive wave of regret? You just stare at the screen and ask yourself, why did I even buy this? Or how many times have you told yourself you were just browsing, right? Only to end up checking out with the cart completely full of stuff. It's a horrible feeling. That guilt, that sinking buyer's remorse, it's brutal.
Well, let's actually quantify that feeling for a minute. Studies show that the average person bleeds anywhere from $300 to $500 every single month on completely unplanned impulse purchases. I mean, think about that. That is up to $6,000 a year going toward things you literally didn't plan to buy, and let's be real here, probably didn't even need. But here's the thing, that's just the surface level drain.
I really want you to let this next number sink in. $740,000. Yeah. This is the massive truth bomb. If you took that $6,000 a year you're spending on random impulse buys and just invested it consistently over 30 years at an average 8% return, that is what it becomes, over $700K. That right there is the real cost of your impulse buying. You aren't just losing a few bucks here and there at the checkout line, you are literally burning nearly $750,000 in lost potential wealth. Mind-blowing, right?
So, how do we actually fix this? Well, we start with phase 1, you against the machine. Listen, impulse buying is not an accident. It is a deliberate trap engineered to empty your pockets. You and I, we are living in a digital ecosystem built by some of the smartest marketers on planet Earth, and they have one singular goal: to get your money out of your pocket before your rational brain can even wake up. The absolute most crucial point you need to remember is this: you are not fighting a product. You are fighting a system. I need you to really internalize this to completely remove your shame. The one-click checkouts, those ticking countdown timers, the influencer lifestyles being shoved in your face, the buy now, pay later buttons, the whole shebang is a highly engineered machine designed to bypass your logic and attack your psychology. You can't just try harder to resist it. We actually have to outsmart the system.
And this illustrates exactly how they get you. Because impulse buying, it's almost never about the actual product itself. It's about exploiting an emotional void. Think about it. You're bored on a Tuesday night. The trap offers you a quick dopamine hit. You're super stressed from a crazy day at work. The system slides in and offers up some retail therapy. You're feeling a little inadequate? Boom, an influencer shows you a flawless lifestyle you can supposedly just buy your way into. The purchase is just the physical action. The emotion you're feeling is the actual driver behind the wheel.
All right, which brings us to phase 2, systematize your defenses. Look, friend to friend here, relying on pure willpower is a total losing game. Systems, on the other hand, systems work even when you're completely exhausted. So your best defense is just making it physically annoying to buy things. Seriously, delete the Amazon app off your phone, remove your saved credit card info from your browser, make yourself actually get up off the couch to go find your wallet. By the time you dig it out of your other pants, your logical brain has time to wake up and say, wait, do I need this? Unsubscribe from those retail emails and definitely unfollow accounts that make you feel like you're falling behind in life. When buying stuff is harder than not buying stuff, you naturally just default to saving. Next up is what I call the upgraded 24-hour rule. Now, you've probably heard of waiting 24 hours to buy something, but most people do it completely wrong. They just leave the browser tab open and eventually buy the thing anyway. So here is the upgrade. Step 1, close the app and physically walk away. Step 2, and this is absolutely mandatory, set an actual alarm on your phone for exactly 24 hours later. When that alarm goes off, it forces a conscious decision. You have to look at the item again and ask yourself, is this more important than my financial goals? Let me tell you, 9 times out of 10, it's a hard no.
Now for physical items taking up space in your house, we're going to use the one in, one out rule. It's super simple but incredibly effective. Before you can bring one new physical item into your home, like a new shirt, a shiny new gadget, a book, one existing item in that exact same category has to be donated, sold, or thrown out. Period.
This adds a massive layer of mental friction. It forces you to weigh the shiny new purchase against what you already own, and it makes you acutely aware of the sheer physical accumulation cost of your shopping habits. Okay, let's keep moving. Phase 3. Rethink your mindset.
So, we've talked about friction, but now we really need to shift how you mentally frame your money. Because if you get this next part right, the urge to impulse buy drops dramatically. And this is going to completely blow your mind, because it is the exact opposite of what most financial gurus will tell you. Let's compare the traditional budget to the anti-budget. Traditional budgeting, it's all about total restriction, deprivation, and guilt. And what happens when you constantly feel deprived? You eventually snap, rebel, and go on a massive spending spree. The anti-budget completely flips this. You automate your savings, your investments, and your debt payments the very second your paycheck hits your account. Done. Handled. And once your future is secure, you spend whatever is left completely freely. Paradoxically, when you know for a fact your future is secure, that scarcity mindset vanishes, and you actually end up spending way less impulsively.
And part of that anti-budget is setting up this absolute game changer, the guilt-free splurge fund. Look, I am definitely not telling you to stop enjoying your life. You need a specific, boundary-protected line in your budget, maybe $50 to $200 a month, where you can buy whatever you want. Literally whatever. No questions asked, zero guilt allowed. When you actively channel your desires into a controlled, designated space like this, you completely stop those unpredictable leaks that end up destroying your overall financial progress.
But right before you tap into that splurge fund, I want you to run the real cost calculation. I call this the math of your life. You've got to stop looking at prices in dollars and start looking at them in hours. If you want a $200 item, and say you make $20 an hour after taxes, that item isn't really $200, it's 10 hours of your life. That's 10 hours of your energy, your stress, your time on this earth. Is that quick little dopamine hit really worth 10 hours of your life? Usually, when you put it like that, the urge dies right then and there.
Which brings us to the final, and honestly most profound step in this explainer. Phase 4. Building a richer life.
All the friction tactics and budget hacks we've talked about. They're great, for sure, but they are really just treating the symptoms. We need to talk about the root cause here, which I call the void. When you strip everything else away, chronic impulse buying is really just an attempt to fill life-shaped problems with product-shaped solutions. You know? You're trying to buy a sense of purpose, or connection, or excitement. But the reality is, no amount of cardboard Amazon packages stacked on your porch will permanently fill a void of meaning in your life. A truly satisfying life, one built on genuine relationships, physical health, and clear purpose, that completely removes the emotional hunger that causes chronic shopping in the first place.
To actually get there, you need concrete accountability. The tricky thing is, the dopamine hit of buying something right this second is incredibly vivid and real, while your financial freedom 5 years from now is completely invisible. So you have to make it visible. Put a picture of your ultimate goal right there on your phone's lock screen. Tell a trusted friend exactly what you're trying to achieve so they can actually hold your feet to the fire. And build non-spending decompression routines, like going for a walk, hitting the gym, or reading, so you don't just default to doom scrolling and shopping when you're stressed out.
All right, you know I love to leave you with some homework, so here is your immediate action plan. 1. Delete just one shopping app today. Just one. 2. Unsubscribe from 3 retail emails right now. 3. Absolutely commit to the 24-hour rule for your very next purchase. 4. Identify your top 3 emotional triggers. What makes you spend? And 5. Set up that guilt-free splurge fund. You literally have the exact game plan to take your power back from the system today.
I want to wrap things up and leave you with this final, massive question. What does your future self actually deserve? Because every single time you avoid an impulse purchase, you aren't just saving a few bucks. You are actively choosing your future freedom over a drawer full of forgotten stuff. You deserve a rich life, man, a calm life, and a life where your money actually works for you, not the other way around. Take back control, implement these systems, and start building the wealth you actually deserve. Thanks for hanging out for this explainer. I'll catch you next time.